To speak a little bit about key figures, some statistic about Jerusalem, so we'll understand the people a bit more. So we're talking about around 850,000 people living in Jerusalem in this big map that include all the red lines. Okay, 850. Out of them, 61% are Jews. And about 40% out of those 61% are what we call Ultra-Orthodox. So Haredi Jews, all of that is part of this 40% that is part of this 60%. So it's quite big. 39% of these 850,000 are Arabs, Palestinians. And about 66,000 were in Jerusalem in 1967. So it's quite a big jump in 50 years. If you look at this small table here, so the numbers between Jews and Arabs, this table was, I found that it's been made in 2006, so 10 years ago, or 11 years ago. So they, in 2000, it was 69 Jews and 31% Arabs in Jerusalem, and they predicted that in 2020 there will be 61% Jews and 39% Arabs. They missed actually, because now we are 2017 and we have these figures. So we're going to have time between Arabs and Jews in Jerusalem very soon, and I don't know, it's been published and been talked quite a lot, that now in elementary schools in Jerusalem, there are about half or more than half of the students in the student's age, let's say not in the schools itself, student age are what we call non-Zionist, which mean Arabs or Ultra-Orthodox. So there's a majority in elementary school in Israel, in the elementary school age in Israel, in Jerusalem, to non-Zionist kids. That makes sense? Yes and no, yeah. Yeah, so they predicted here that it will be 50-50 population-wise in 2035, and we probably will see this even earlier. That's an issue. Let's go to the next slide. Some key indicator about this population, the population of Jerusalem, the people that actually live in Jerusalem. The first table here is the proportion or the rate of children living below poverty line in Israel. Basically, the Jerusalem Council is in charge of this part of town, but this part of Jerusalem, that means that they have to provide the plans, the construction plans, sewage, education, all of that supposed to be under the Jerusalem Council. And again, think about the number, the changing number between something like 70,000 to more than 300,000 that live there now. So that means you need to build a lot, quite a lot of construction to be very intense. So there are several issues in that. First of all, there is an issue of security. Israeli police do not feel safe to go to those territories. Even though it's Jerusalem, even though it's Israel, even though there are officially Israeli permanent residents, Israeli police will not feel safe to go to those part of town. So when you see those areas that are under the Jerusalem Municipal Council rule, there is really fear or an actual risk for Israelis or Israeli police to go inside those places. So that's an indicator that you can learn a lot from. There was an experiment done in the Israeli TV that someone just called and said, okay, I live in one of those areas. I don't remember the exact village, but I think it was Zubacher, and there is a domestic violence here in my neighbor. Just there is a risk that he will kill his wife. The police will not come. If you will say that there is a risk of terrorist group walking in the street, the army will come. Mainly the border patrol will come. But if it's a domestic issue, if it's drugs, and there is a huge problem of drugs in those areas, the police will not go into because it's just too dangerous. It's just too risky. Just one second. It's just too risky. So what's happened in a lot of cases is that there is some kind of communal tribunal that will try to fix the problem. Sometimes by murdering the drug dealer, arresting him, putting him in some kind of solitude place, etc. But there is you will not see Israeli police in most of those territories. Yes. So there is a lot of problems in Jerusalem. There are a lot of problems in Jerusalem. Secular Jews, big numbers live in Jerusalem, but also there are very nice success and initiatives in Jerusalem at the moment, in the last 10, 15 years, that comes from grassroots organizations, from bottom up, and that's something that can, give us a little bit of optimism about the future of Jerusalem. I gave you, there are just several of them. This is, and all those initiatives started in Jerusalem and based in Jerusalem. So Ashgacha Pratit, anyone knows what Ashgacha Pratit? So that's a kosher stamp, basically, because there are a lot of issues with establishment of the kosher authority in Israel. You can have a kosher kitchen in Israel, but if you open in Friday or Saturday, you will not get a stamp. So there was an initiative in Jerusalem. It came up from the ground, from religious people, to give a certificate to businesses that actually keeps kosher. They can open on Shabbat or not open on Shabbat, but they maybe don't want to pay those fortunes to the authorities, to the kosher authorities. So the religious people going from business to business and for free offering their services and giving them the kosher stamp, and it's called Ashgacha Pratit. And again, initiatives that start in Jerusalem and spread all over Israel. And it's important. It came from a religious group of people. Another thing is, it's a sign of how complex is Jerusalem. I don't know how many of you know, but in Yom Yerushalayim, there is a march, the flag march, and in the last, let's say, 10 years, there was a lot of violence that comes from Jews toward Arabs, Arab shopkeepers, violence, threats, very bad songs, curse, etc. And so in that day, basically, the Arab population in East Jerusalem, especially in the old city, the Arab population just closed the shops and do not open it because it's a fear. They're not able to open their shops. So in the last couple of years, there is an initiative called Solidarity. So the Jewish shops in Jerusalem closed their shops as well in Yom Yerushalayim as an act of solidarity with the Arab shops that closed because of this march. Two more initiatives that started in Jerusalem. And again, all of those initiatives, the beauty of them, they are a mix of secular and religious Jews. Kabbalat Shabbat, there is a pluralistic Kabbalat Shabbat in Jerusalem, in the Tachana area, and that's circles of discourse. People just come to the city, the main city, to the CBD, and have discourse about the issues that I raised today. How can we solve them and other issues, Judaism, solidarity, etc. So, bless you. So that's some cause for optimism, but the situation is not easy, and the way, as I see it, is not the direction is not good. to Jerusalem, but there are very good people that stayed in Jerusalem and really fighting the fight for the city, try to keep some of the shops, cinemas open for secular people on the weekend, etc. Yes?
How much interaction is there between Israeli Jews and Arabs, both professionally and socially? Like how easy is it for an Arab to get employed by a Jewish company, and how much also socially?
As I mentioned before, there are quite a lot of Arabs that live in East Jerusalem that comes every morning and walk in West Jerusalem. You will see in the bus industry, the public transportation, you will see a lot of Arab bus drivers, for example. There is an initiative by the government, there is actually regulation by the government that some percentage of public servants should be Arabs. There is all those kind of initiative. I don't think that they actually got this threshold in public service. They have a threshold, they have an aim, but they didn't reach it. So there is opportunities. If you will go a lot of barbershop and pedicure, manicure, you will see that the workers there are. So there is this connection. I will not say that it's not a total separation, but for the other side, you will not see Jews traveling to East Jerusalem if they're, if they want to leave. Yeah.
That's